page 453. This is called the Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora. Letting you know, just go to the page. Yeah. That's why, that's why I put that there. So this is a book where a so-called Jewish man is revealing where the Jews fled, right? So we're going to read this real quick. Read that from the top, 453.
Migrations of Jews into West Africa. Paragraph 2. Africa in the border sense is clearly indicated where mention is made of the 10 tribes having been driven into exile by the Assyrians and have journeyed into Africa.
So they're telling us too that the Israelites went into Africa. This is so-called white man. Okay, come on. So it gives strips, it gives resources of different people. Jump up to that little part right there where I highlighted.
These communities were augmented by subsequent arrivals of Jews after the destruction of the Second Jerusalem Temple in 70 CE, when 30,000 Israelite slaves were settled throughout Carthage by the Roman Emperor Titus.
So you gotta understand this. If you do your research, I just did a video on this about Babylon 10/2, 1 million Jews fled in Africa. The 30,000 that was put in Carthage, that was a slave post. After they destroyed Hannibal, Rome took over Carthage, which was at the top of Africa, and that became a slave port. And this is where they trained the gladiators and trained slaves to be trained Israelites to be slaves. Okay, that was only 30,000, but 1 million Jews fled into West Africa. Okay, those were just the ones that were captured, 30,000. Okay, yeah. Turn over to the next page. Go to 454. Yeah, read that.
The Arabs, who also know the legend of the Bensi Musa, sons of Moses, agree with.
We talked about him the last time we was in class, right? Go ahead.
Sons of Moses agree with the Jews in placing their land in Africa.
Drop down to the highlighted version here and here and here.
In later centuries, Jews are believed to have settled in Western Africa during the height of the Songhai, Mali, Ghana, and Kanem Bornu empires.
So that's hitting it right to home. These are serious African empires. Okay? Say the empires again.
According to the height of the Songhai.
Songhai is a major empire in West Africa. Go ahead.
Mali.
Mali is another one. Come on.
Ghana.
Ghana. We all know about Ghana. Man of the Kings. Come on.
And Kanem Bornu empires. According to the accounts from explorers of the region, several powerful Jewish families of the Songhai Empire.
Notice it says Jewish families. It Israelite families.
Israelite families of the Songhai Empire.
Don't get shaken when you hear Jewish, because the Negro mind, when they hear Jewish, it goes right back to the Jewish people, the so-called white people. Right. So you have to say Israelite.
Even when you hear Israelite.
Huh?
Even when they hear Israelite.
Yeah, you got a process. That's why we have to stop you, because we know where your minds are going. Because we've been brainwashed, man. Our people have been brainwashed, brain dirty, not brainwashed, but brain dirty down to the last middle school. So we have to stop you and correct you in your mind. Go ahead.
Several powerful Israelite families of the Songhai Empire of Israelite origin until Aski Muhammad came into power and in 1492 decreed that all the Jews either convert to Islam or to leave the region. Okay, so now, like I said, we have to stop you every time. Now think about it. How can a so-called white man get into Africa and run his kingdom? Does that even make sense? All them empires.
All them empires.
1492.
But you got one little weaselly Caucasian Jewish man gonna come in and run the whole empire. You see, we gotta stop you and correct you. You know, so you can see that this was an all-black empire. These were Israelites.
That's right.
They knew they were Israelites. Come on.
According to certain records in Timbuktu, an older community was formed by a group of Egyptian Jews who traveled by the way of the Sahel corridor through Chad into Mali. That's another way of tricking you too. Egyptian Jews, you right away think about Egyptians converted to Judaism.
No, these were Jews that fled Egypt, that lived in Egypt. Okay? Come on.
Another community was that of the Zua or the Jua ruler of Chalkea, located near the Niger River, whose name is only known as Zua-Alaman or Zua min al-Yaman, meaning he comes from Yemen. Local legends state that the Zua-Alaman was a member of the Israelite colonies transported from Yemen by the Abyssinians.
Another Jedi mind trick, Yemen. Alright? He came from the east. He was an Israelite. Come on.
By the Abyssinians in the 6th century CE. Zua-Alaman is said to have traveled into West Africa along with his brother and eventually established a local Israelite community between Mali and northern Nigeria. Some accounts place West African Israelite communities of the Ando Forest of Dohemi south of Timbuktu in the 1930s. These groups still maintain a Torah scroll written in Aramaic that have been burned into parchment with a hot iron instead of ink so that it could not be changed.
So that it could not be changed, meaning you can't come in and amend it.
A Torah scroll.
Alright, so this is going on for centuries.
What's CE?
CE means before Christ. Okay?
So BC.
BC, CE, same thing.
Oh,
okay, then you have AD.
what's
Right?
AD?
After
Amino Domini.
Yes.
In the year of our Lord.
Oh, okay, that's what that means.
That's what it means. Amino Domini. In the year of our Lord. Okay? So, as you can see, there were Israelites in West Africa. We're bringing that out so you can see it. For the brothers on the conference call, in the video that we're going to put forth, this is for our people. Okay. Read the second part of the highlight version, and we'll stop right there. Go ahead.
The decline of the decline of the Israelite communities in West Africa and Maghreb most likely began with the influx of Arab invaders into North Africa starting in 640 CE and later into West Africa in the 1300s and 1400s.
Okay, so during this time there was a different type of slavery. We was going into chattel slavery under the Arabs, who were the Ishmaelites. They were the only ones that could penetrate into that land. The so-called white man could not penetrate into Africa. Okay? They could not penetrate into Africa. This is why, and we'll go through the scriptures and we're going to show you in the books that was unknown. West Africa and South Africa was unknown to the so-called white man. They were afraid to go into those lands because it was unheard of. Jungles, monsters, oh my. They didn't want to go there. It was the land, they call it the land of the black. Okay? They didn't want to meet our God. That's why they come up with the movie King Kong. You know what I mean? King Kong wasn't our God, but that's how they see a great black man is running things. With arms and legs and their head. Because we saw our God as looking just like us, with a body. Okay? That's where they get the whole King Kong thing from. Alright? You have more in there? Go to page 478.
Jews lived in Libya continuously under the Ptolemaic, Roman, Ottoman, Italian, British, and Arab rule.
Okay, so they're saying all these names because these eras were happening after the Greeks conquered, the Romans conquered, the Ottoman Empire conquered, and so forth. So they're naming all the people who ruled during those times to conquer these people. We'll start from the top again.
Jews lived in Libya continuously under Ptolemaic, Roman, Ottoman, Italian, British, and Arab rule. Although little is known of the Israelite community between the time of the two Israelite revolts against the Romans in 73 CE and 115 CE, which were brutally crushed, and the arrival in the 16th century of refugees from the Iberian expulsion. Okay,
so now it's talking about what happened to the Israelites. Okay, during 70 AD they got conquered. During 115 AD they got conquered in Libya. Okay, so what happened? There's other books that tell you that the Israelites went further south into West Africa, where Ghana is, where Niger is. That's where they were. They were all in those lower parts of West Africa because the Sahara Desert is what separated us from Algeria, Morocco, in those areas up north. That desert The Most High placed that desert there for a reason. All right. Did you finish reading that?
Yeah.
Go to page 492. Page 492. So basically they say, oh, they disappeared. Where'd they go? 492. And these were black people. Read that, starting from the top.
Jews in Nigeria. Determining who is Israelite in Nigeria is problematic.
Now, brothers in Nigeria, I've talked to brothers in Nigeria. They will never tell you what they believe in, the ones that I know in America. But if you watch them, they'll keep the Sabbath. Because I talked to one brother, he was like, man, I got to get home before sun goes down. It slipped. And it was a Friday. They keep the Sabbath. They don't eat pork. You know, there's certain things they do, you just got to watch them. You got to be like Joseph, man.
Wise as serpents.
You know what I mean? It's people that hate you. So you gotta play that part. Christ said that. What did he say?
He said, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
When Pontius Pilate asked Christ, are you a king? Did he say he was a king?
Exactly.
He said, you say that I'm a king. Right? You gotta be wise about this, man. There's a lot of devils out there, deceivers, man. You know what I mean?
Determining who is Israelite in Nigeria is problematic. Many of the Igbo people whose ancestral land in the southeast of Nigeria, who number more than 40 million, see themselves as Jews.
As Jews.
Among the Igbos are thousands who were converted to Christianity by the colonialists.
Oh, keep reading this.
But later renounced Christianity.
But later renounced Christianity. Okay.
Later.
Why did they renounce it? Keep going.
Formed synagogues and now live as the children of Israel, Jews.
Wow.
In Nigeria, other tribal groups have also renounced Christianity and practiced Judaism.
So why did they do that? Why did they renounce Christianity? They already knew they were Jews. Why did they take it in the first place?
Because it was forced upon them.
Under that captivity, under that rule. So it was a form of being smart to a certain degree, as long as you didn't worship their God. You know what I mean? That's what they did. That's how a lot of our people did. You know, in Spain, Portugal, they did the same thing. Because you would be chastised severely for saying who you were. You know what I mean? Score. Go to the book of North Africa. I think it's right there. Yeah, just read. Yeah, you can put that one.
What book is that?
The Jewish Society.
This is a so-called white man wrote that about our own people. See, they'll tell on themselves if you just do a little research on find out what because they got all the information, but they'll never just come out of their mouth and just tell you. Kind of like what we were just talking about us. They'll never just come out and tell you that you're Israelite.
And that's pretty
how much this costs?
Part in the book.
How much this costs?
The rest is about their white history.
Their white history, exactly. So why would they even mention that?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because most of their encyclopedias don't mention us at all.
In an expensive book, exactly.
That's why I said, Yahweh said, Revelation 1 and 3.
Blessed to see that reading.
Read page 49. Page 49.
It's part of studying to show yourself approved.
Yeah, man.
Right here.
Yeah.
The book is called North Africa by Philip C. Naylor. Page 49, paragraph 3. Christianity in North Africa. Christianity appealed to North Africans as well as other citizens and subjects of the Roman Empire for many years.
Subjects of the Roman Empire. Y'all hear that part? So when people say they're Christian today, what type of Christian are they? Roman Catholicism Christians. Catholic Christians. Roman Christians.
That's basically all the
Thank you.
nations.
Right. So the reason why, see, this guy's answering what we read in that book. He's basically saying the reason why they took the Christianity because there was, like the brother said, they were under the Roman rule, Roman persecution.
Christianity's transcultural character reflected the monotheism of the Hebrews, the immortality of the Egyptians, and the philosophy of the Greeks.
So what is it saying?
Christianity adopted all that
Mixed
Egyptian.
Constantine in the mix right here. Here's Constantine. He took all the religions and stirred it together. This is why the Igbo said, man, y'all keep your Christianity. We're going back to our old ways. That's why they left. They did their research. They listened to the elders.
Isn't that the definition of Catholic or something? Or
Universal.
Universal is Catholic. Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead.
In many ways, Christianity synthesized the belief systems of Western civilization and received, in particular, a rich, controversial expression in North Africa.
See that? So it was Western civilization that accepted that. Africa didn't accept that. They never accepted Christianity. Now they do, because the children are raising up and becoming adults, and they're taking this to prosper because these evangelists and these missionaries are leaving here and bringing them money. Churches, accepting Coca-Cola, you know, Coca-Cola factories, Hiltons, embassies, McDonald's. In order for them to get the blessing of Esau, they got to accept his ways. So that's how that works. Let's go back to let's go to the supreme being of the Ashantis in this book here. This is the same guy who wrote Hebrewisms of West Africa. This is the same author. Y'all ever heard of that? Yeah. Hebrewism of West Africa?
I heard of that book.
Joseph J. Williams is the same guy. So this guy did some massive research, so-called white man, on the brothers in West Africa.
The word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.